First of all, I would like to thank President Trump for his efforts to secure the release of the hostages. This is the good news. On the other hand, the situation in Gaza and the future of Gaza is in the hands of a barbaric group, that they're going nowhere. Gaza is their breeding ground. And if we don't evacuate civilians, Trump's original plan to relocate the Gaza entire population, there is going to be Hamas. And if it's not Hamas, there is going to be Islamic Jihad. If it's not Islamic Jihad, there is going to be a communist Palestinian fanatics with intentions to wipe Israel off the map. They are too close to Israel, and you cannot mix both. It's impossible. We saw what they did on October 7th. I grew up among these people. My father is one of the founders of Hamas and still a top leader of Hamas organization. When Israel used to come to arrest him, dozens of times, they always respected women and children. They waited outside the door for women to dress up because they respected the culture. Now, the rules of engagement in Gaza is completely different because Hamas used their own children as human shields. It's the mosque, the Dome of the Rock, sitting on the Temple Mount. This is their fight. It's a religious fight. It's a jihad against the Jews. It's jihad against civilization. And today you see the vast majority of the Muslims on assault on a Jewish minority. The world needs to open its eyes, especially Americans. Americans are on the other side of this culture. Americans don't stand this barbarism. Listen to it now. 10 years from now,
You'll hear it again.
You will remember my words, and it's going to be much worse. So now we can convince ourselves that peace is happening, but 10 years from now, 15 years from now, the entire world is going to regret it. So it's better to wake up now and face reality before it comes and slap us right on the face. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. The people here are exhausted of war. And this is the time to seize the moment, to finish this madness. Let them go to hell. I don't care. Wherever they go. And I take responsibility for my words. If they don't want to coexist peacefully and act like barbaric 7th century mentality by the name of jihad, by the name of Palestine, by the name of manipulation, enough is enough, and I don't care what the world thinks. Yes, let them go to France. They would be the reason of collapse of civilization, wherever you take them. If Egypt does not want to take them, if Jordan does not want to take them, then let Europe take them. Yes, I will be very happy if they go to Europe.
Aware of the wolf, or the wolves among the sheep. Palestine. It was only a colonial entity. It was never a sovereign country. And Palestinians are not people. Palestine is a very dangerous concept. It depends on the destruction of Israel. And Israel is not a political entity. You need to understand this. Israel is an evolution. Israel is earth. Israel doesn't know political borders. Just look at the roots of Israel worldwide. Wherever you go, there is Israel. Israel is God. You fight with Israel, you are fighting with the most powerful authority of the universe. Do I need to say it clearer? And I try not to get to the business of God. But this is what it is. If you don't accept it, you are in the face of a certain destruction. What's happening in Gaza can be repeated everywhere else. We have now this new league of communists and Islamists and feminists and Hamas rapists, all of them chanting free, free Palestine. Stop chanting free, free Palestine. It's not a hostage in my backyard. Decent citizens say free, free the hostages. Back in the day, about 37 years ago, exactly in December 8th, 1987, when the first Palestinian Intifada started. They start chanting from the river to the sea, resistance, Intifada. It sounded romantic, and many people joined the cause, not realizing what would happen 37 years later. Women, men, families, children, everybody in that doomed society called the Palestinian Society, they agreed on violence. They legitimized violence. And there was no wise man to say that violence is a dead end. And the irony that people like my father, for example, they lived an amazing life prior to the first Intifada. They were able to travel everywhere. Economy was amazing. We did not have checkpoints. We did not have violence. Life was perfect. And look at them and what they did. 37 years in the making. They turned Gaza into rubble. That's their creation. And I wish they would admit that they did something wrong. I wish they take responsibility for their failing strategy, adapting violence, sacrificing children for political and financial gain. Pure evil. A culture that I disagreed with. And my reward was death sentence. Imagine when my father, under the social pressure to please the society, to go along with the agreeable, he told them, this is not my son, you can kill him. I will not come after you. His blood is halal. Sacrificed his own son for non-existential Palestine, Islam, Allah, all of that, conceptions, idols. And what was my crime? Only because I said no to suicide bombing attacks, targeting people indiscriminately. Not only Jews were killed during the suicide bombing attacks. Arabs, Christians, Druze, elders, children. They targeted everybody, dozens of suicide bombing attacks. The ugliest thing anybody can do. And the more ugly, to justify it by the name of resistance or by the name of occupation. All the lame excuses. And when you disagree with them, you become a traitor. They think they have the higher moral ground. They don't. You're violent. You're a terrorist. You have been justifying violence against women, children. You have been justifying the use of human shields. You don't have compassion towards the non-Muslims. And you expect that I'm going to respect you in return or submit to your violence. And if I speak out loud, I get criticized by the hypocrite mediocres all the time in imposture. They want to teach me something about life and about human cruelty. They don't understand the Middle East. They don't understand the law of the desert. They don't understand tribalism. It's insanity. The Muslim Brotherhood, the Muslims generally, I'm not here to speak against a group, but I wish that they qualify as a religion to begin with. They don't. It's not even a religion. It's a totalitarian system that does not have regard to any other belief system. It does not tolerate. It's violent towards all non-Muslims. And the Jewish hatred is rooted in their religion. You don't have to speak about it, but I have no other choice because I know their religion, I know their Quran, I know their belief system. Don't condemn what I just said. I mean it. They don't qualify. It's a fallen society. It's fallen from grace, from my grace. And I don't have compassion towards a woman who celebrates violence against others in the morning, then when she mourns her own children in the evening, I don't have compassion. It's the legitimate outcome of her creation. This is what people need to understand. In the universe, it's the laws of cause and effect. You cannot start intifada, then when the intifada comes to hit you right in your ugly face, you go on crying and blaming. No, you are responsible for that. How many years I've been saying to what so-called Palestinians, the violence is a dead end. You think they listened? They tried to kill me instead. They wanted me dead, and they now tripled down. They cannot see it. They don't want to admit it. And they are growing. And of course, I have all the right to be frustrated and angry with them. This is why Gaza is destroyed. And this is why the children in Gaza, the Arab children, not Palestinians, the Arab children, have been paying the price. Palestinians are the invaders. They are the real threat. The biggest mistake the international community, when they pressured Israel in Oslo to bring tens of thousands of terrorists carrying their AK-47s back to Ramallah, to Bethlehem, to the most sacred areas in Judea and Samaria, they empowered them, they allowed them in, they invaded us, they tortured us, they killed our people, they are corrupted, they did not help us. And whenever they needed money, they sent children to be sacrificed. This has been their strategy. And the world, on one hand, want to support their indoctrination, the Palestinian indoctrination. On the other hand, they want to complain when children die. And I say, the more you support Palestine, the more children will die. It's as simple as that. Arab and Jewish children. So please know the difference, for those who don't know the difference. I am an Arab. Arabian is an ethnicity. Arabs and Jews can get along.
ما أعطتكم إياه حتى دولة أسست لكم دولة الملك فهد يوم ريغان يطلب منه تمويل ثوار الكونترا قال له وحدة بوحدة أبي دولة الفلسطين قال له أبشر ووقع الخطاب دولة الفلسطين وعلم الملك فهد عرفات أنه حصلنا دولة فلسطينية. هرب عرفات ما شافوه إلا بعد 10 سنين من هالكلام هذا. هرب ما يبي دولة فلسطينية. كلكم ما تبون دولة فلسطينية لأن أساسا ما لكم قضية ولا لكم دولة ولا لكم أرض. هذه أرض إسرائيل بالقرآن وأنتم شتات رومان ملفقين مغول وتركمان وشركس وأرمن وغجر. ما لكم حق بفلسطين. فلسطين هذه دولة إسرائيلية لبني إسرائيل. وبني إسرائيل لمعلوميتكم بني إسرائيل هذولا عيال إسحاق وحنا يا العرب عيال إسماعيل. وإسحاق وإسماعيل أخوين أبوهم إبراهيم عليه السلام. يعني هذولا عيال عمنا. لكن أنتم منين جيتوا؟ أنتم وش دخلكم بالموضوع؟ أنتم يا الشتات يا الغجر يا المغول يا التركمان يا الشركس يا الرومان يا بقايا الشعوب. إيش دخلكم بالموضوع؟ إيش دخلكم بالسالفة؟ إيش دخلكم بيننا؟ هذا بني إسرائيل على أرضهم. ما لكم أرض أنتم ولا لكم قضية يا جماعة. أنتم أدوختونا واشغلتونا. والأقصى الأقصى لمعلوميتك ما عندكم أقصى. ما في شيء اسمه أقصى. في شيء اسمه القدس. المسجد الأقصى اللي ورد ذكره هو بالجعرانة 29 كيلو على الطائف. وكان المسجدين المسجد الأقصى والمسجد الأدنى. المسجد الأقصى حقكم بناه الشام عام 72 هجري. كيف يسرى محمد له وهو مبني عام 72 للهجرة؟ يعني بعد وفاة محمد ب60 سنة. تضحكون على مين أنتم؟ تضحكون على مين؟ الفلسطيني أنت ما أنت عربي ولا لك أرض ولا لك قضية. الأرض أرض إسرائيل والقضية قضية إسرائيل معكم. كان إسحاق شامير ورابين وشارون وجولدا مائير والثاني والله ما ادري ايش اسمه. هذول كانوا ابطال تدري ولا لا؟ لكن نتنياهو جبان. لا نتنياهو ما حرككم. ما ادري وش يبي بهالاسلحه مكدسها عنده. يا ادمي يا نتنياهو احرق هالعصابات هذه وهالشتات وهالملفقين وريح نفسك وريح العالم منهم وريحنا احنا منهم. ليش مخليهم؟ ليش فتح لهم الحدود يهاجرون؟ نراحوا للأردن سووا ويلون الأسود، ونراحوا للكويت انهبوه يوم صدام احتله، انهبوه يلبسون لبس الجيش العراقي وينهبوه. الخسة والنذالة والحقارة ما يتركونها، هذه تربيتهم وهذا دمهم وهذا عرقهم. ليش ما تريح العالم منهم يا نتنياهو إذا أنت رجال وبطل؟ ها؟ الله يلعنكم ويلعن حتى نتنياهو اللي ما خلصنا منكم. لأن نتنياهو تارك لكم الحبل على الغارب. والمفروض نتنياهو هو اللي يأدبكم وهو اللي يخلص العالم من شروركم. أنتم شر في أي دولة تحطون فيها يا الفلسطينيين. شر منزل ولا بكم رجل. أنا مستعد أنام عند يهودي ولا أنام عند فلسطيني. أنا مستعد أقلط يهودي في بيتي وأغديه وأوكله وأشربه وأرقده ولا أدخل فلسطيني في بيتي.
This is Abi's desperate attempt to discredit me. I am a man of the field. I fought against Hamas as part of intelligence, legitimate intelligence organization, against savage group that were targeting civilians in suicide bombing attacks, waves of suicide bombing attacks that they killed people indiscriminately. So Abi today want me for some reason to apologize for saving human life because my truth challenges her convenient truth. Abi does not have the authority. She's just a self-appointed low-grade journalist. How can you be a journalist and you call this a genocide, ethnic cleansing? And she just keep repeating ethnic cleansing, genocide, colonialism, etc. None of it is real, including Palestine. It's only in your head. None of it is existential. Palestine was never born. How can you free it? It was never there. It's just a colonial entity, and some people choose to make it into a national identity. And this parrot has been just repeating Hamas propaganda. Marwan Barghouti that she's talking about him, she never met him. I knew Marwan before he got to power. He is a criminal. He killed 5 people. He has blood on his hands. He cheated on his wife. He has a secret son that he never revealed it to the public. Of course, I can criticize him, and I can criticize all the criminals that I know personally. She's been there only for a visit, and maybe she had some falafel sandwich, you know, and she really was blown away of the Palestinian experience. There is no such a thing as Palestine. It's about time to retire, find a different job. You're not a journalist. You don't qualify even to be a mother.
Wow.
First, you can call me a TikTok watcher, you can call me Gen Z, you can call me arrogant. What you can't do is respond to the facts. That's what you can't
facts?
do.
Well, you know,
What facts?
To be fair, we need facts, and that's what I was kind of asking you about. So, yeah.
Well,
The fact that I was born there and you weren't? The fact that you have a second-hand knowledge?
No, the fact that
The fact
Israel...
that you think saving human life is treason? You're just taking the side against Israel for killing Gaza children, ignoring the reality that Hamas is using them as civilians, as human shields. And I've been telling you this from day one, that you have been used by Hamas. They want you to cause chaos. They want the global chaos. They want to put pressure on the US government, on the Israeli government, and all other democracies. They want to bring the civilized world to its knees from those ugly images that we see from the war. But Israel did not initiate that war on October 7th. Hamas did. And our problem is not only with Hamas, is with the Palestinian ideology that you just want to gift Hamas and other fanatics a Palestinian state thinking that this is going to bring a solution. This is going to create a global chaos. These people are not looking for equal opportunity. They don't want to divide the land. If they wanted to divide the land, they would have accepted the partition back in 1948. But instead of declaring their independence, they declared war against the Jewish people. Then they remembered some 40 years later to declare their independence. This is Palestinians, or what so-called Palestinians. They have many fundamental problems. They don't have a legitimate leadership.
Settlements, or what so-called settlements, those are cities of hundreds of thousands of people. This was the result of the 1967 war, when the Arab countries united wanted to annihilate the state of Israel. Arabs had their opportunity.
Yeah,
So now,
by all means,
the thing
unhinged.
is,
Go on with your unhinged rambling. Go for it.
invert the narrative. They invert the narrative. Every time they suffer a defeat, they call it a genocide. And we say, no, there is a big difference between defeat and a genocide. You started this war and you killed Jewish people on October 7 by the name of Allah, not by the name of Palestine. Then the entire Muslim world backed Hamas in a global offensive against the Jewish people, a small minority that is resilient to time, with overwhelming evidence in relationship to the land, the only indigenous people to the land who did not oppose allowing the Arabs to stay in the state of Israel. This is why we have 2 million Arabs in Israel. So now, to accuse Israel of ethnic cleansing,
Israel was established
to accuse Israel of genocide, while you are the perpetrator. You are the perpetrator. Why you are interrupting me? I listened to your false narrative all the way until the end.
No.
So this is the time to sit down and listen. Instead of accepting what is on the table to coexist with Israel, basically Israel was willing to withdraw from the West Bank and Gaza. That offer was on the table in 2000. And Yasser Arafat rejected that because the revolution has no purpose. The revolution is only for the sake of revolution. Bunch of con artists who only want to gain money and power. This is their game.
What's happened there in the last 25 years is one of the great tragedies of the 21st century. And when I tell the young people, for example, who are understandably in America, or let's say they're super sympathetic with the Palestinians. Well, they've been killed, a lot of those Palestinians have, and all they know is that a lot more Palestinians have been killed than Israelis. And I tell them what Arafat walked away from, and they can't believe it. I said, oh yeah, he walked away from a Palestinian state with a capital in East Jerusalem, 96% of the West Bank, 4% of Israel, to make up for the 4% that the settlers occupy that were beyond the borders in the 67 war. I go through all the stuff that was in the deal, and they it's not on their radar screen. They can't even imagine that happened. And I tell them, the first and most famous victim of an attempt to give the Palestinians a state was Prime Minister Rabin, whom I think loved as much as I ever loved another man. And so Rabin, and then Shimon Peres is defeated in the election, and where the rest of it is history. But you walk away from these once-in-a-lifetime peace opportunities, and you can't complain 25 years later when the doors weren't all still open and all the possibilities weren't still there. You can't do it. It's just
the ethnic cleansing, the genocide, all this type of allegations is the failing attempt of the loser that wants to turn defeat into something else. It's a culture that is based on honor and shame, not right and wrong. It's very shameful, and it has been for the Arab leaderships to just accept defeat. And if you don't accept defeat, you can never know victory, by the way. So they call it a Nakba. It's a disaster. But who's responsible for that disaster? Was it the Arab miscalculation when Israel was extremely outnumbered and they came with this inflated Arabian ego, thinking that they are going to make the Jews into a food of the fish of the sea? They used to say, Arabic, تَجَوَّعْ يَا سَمَكَ الْبَحْرِ. This was the slogan, marching towards to annihilate the Jewish people.
After the Oslo Accords, or
please let me finish. Please don't interrupt me, please. I did not interrupt you. So now the situation got out of control. The false narrative of a victim became global. It's definitely a bestseller narrative, but it's not a true story. Big shock. My grandmother was asked to evacuate her farm as hundreds of thousands of Arabs left their farms because the Arab armies told them, you must evacuate. After we cleanse the land of the Jews, you can return to your homes. I don't need the United Nations to come educate me about anything because my grandmother is an eyewitness and she gave me her experience. This is what they told her. This is why she left her farm, because she was afraid to get caught up in the war. And the Arabs lost the war, and my grandmother never returned back to her farm. But you know what's amazing? My grandmother started her life again in the village of Bir Zayt near Ramallah and was able to start over and be very successful, sent all her children to get education. And what's remarkable about her? She never spoke anything bad about Israel. She never used the term Nakba. She never used the term occupation or colonialism. For her, it was a loss, and I think deep in her soul, she knew that the Arab armies misguided the entire population, Arab population. They weren't Palestinians at that time. So when we talk about Nakba, catastrophe, whatever they want to name it, it's just a concept. Who's responsible for that, in my opinion? The Arab arrogance.
Touch Palestine at that time. They were just Arabs. And in the British era of colonialism, Jews, Arabs, Druze, Christians, everybody in that area was called the Palestinian. The Palestinian is a colonial entity. It was not a country, and it was not a nationality. It was just a 25-year period. So now, when we convinced ourselves that we were Palestinians because of Yasser Arafat wanted us to be Palestinians, the chaos had begun. And now, Palestinian is nothing but the victim narrative, that we don't want to take responsibility for the choices that we have made. 70 years of conflict. And how many opportunities the Palestinians, or what so-called Palestinians, it's not a real thing. There are Arab children, they have the birthright to be there, and Israel has 2 million of those. So the allegation of apartheid doesn't make sense. It's just a broken record by all those who have been trying to delegitimize Israel. It has nothing to do in reality. Then the victim narrative goes on. The 1967 borders, this was area which is the West Bank. It was under the control of Jordan. And the Gaza was under the control of Egypt. They were Egypt and Jordanian territories. It was not a Palestine. Today, Israel has peace with Egypt and with Jordan. So when the Arabs launched a war and they lost the war in Arabs had their opportunity back in 1948 to declare their independence. They had equal opportunity like the Jewish people. The Jewish people fought the British colonialism, and they shed blood, and eventually they earned their independence. But in 1948, instead of the Arabs declaring their independence, they declared war against the Jewish people. So when the Arabs launched a war and they lost the war in 1967, Israel captured some territory. This is the consequences of war. This is and the Arabs don't want to accept the consequences of defeat. Instead of saying we were defeated and Israel won, now they played the victim card. They have been playing the victim card for 70 years. And instead of accepting what gave the territory after the war, while Egypt, your country, gave the Jewish people a 24-hour notice to depart Egypt.
But the Jewish people did not do the same towards the Arabs. And this is how we have 2 million Arabs in Israel. So all the accusations, they're just baseless. And this is how they have been spreading lies to delegitimize Israel without telling us even what Palestine is. What does it stand for? Is it a nation? What do they want to achieve? This revolution and this global chaos, what's their ultimate goal? I would like to know. And most importantly, who is their leadership? Is it the Palestinian Authority? Is it Hamas? Is it the Islamic Jihad? Is it this new generation of pro-Palestine that they are irrelevant to the suffering of the Arab and Jewish children?
Israel has 2 million of them, just our cousins, like literally 10 kilometers away, and they enjoyed all the benefits of a democratic system. We didn't in the West Bank because the Palestinian revolution enslaved us to their indoctrination. And I'm longing for the day that the Arab children of the West Bank and Gaza will have their freedom back, their freedom from Palestinians, the real invaders who want to enslave and destroy and loot and rape. This is what they stand for. So I haven't lost hope, and I'm sure at some point there will be peace. But now it's a wartime, and we must stand firm.
Told them we want to disarm, and they will disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently. But they will disarm. Do you understand me?
Yes. You say
because you always, everyone says, oh, well, they won't disarm. They will disarm. And I spoke to Hamas, and I said, you're going to disarm, right? Yes, sir, we're going to disarm. That's what they told me. They will disarm, or we will disarm them. Got it?